All right. Hey, let's make some games. We're going to make some games. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. It's going to be good times. Let's make it happen. Oh boy, is that going very choppy on the stream? What's going on here? Why are we being so choppy? Let's see. Okay. That was the sound of the charging cable falling out. Let's go. Professional. Come on, little guy. A cameraless stream. Oh, that sounded good. All right. Give that a second to catch up here. Now, weirdly enough, seems like it's looking straight up into the sky. What is going on? Okay, hold on. What are you doing? Hold on. Hold on. All right, this may not work. We may have to go cameraless this time. I think audio should be looking good. But, boy, even though I've got like perfect upload, like it's not like I'm dropping frames. For whatever reason, this camera is really struggling. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off. Until it seems to be catching. Oh, is it kind of catching up? Kind of catching up. Was it just low battery? Were you just sad? Maybe it'll get better. All right. Let's jump back in. We are building something magnificent here. Check this out. Look at all this stuff that we built. Look at all these green check marks. Look at all this. We're just missing two more things. We're missing a currency layer. We need to have two currencies. And then it's going to be about the views. So let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Right on. So where we left off last time, we've just barely gotten platforming all working. We had gotten the ability to buy upgrades to fine tune your platforming. So we have money. Whoa, mouse, come on. And we can buy upgrades. We can go faster. Whoa, look how faster we can go. We can make it so that we can jump really high or not very high. We can reduce friction. Oh, geez, my mouse is just warping all over the place. We can reduce the friction, make it more slidey. Woo! I'm only tapping the buttons, by the way. This is what happens with zero friction, and then we can just turn friction back on. So, huzzah! Magic powers. So we need to now make a separate currency that will give us a different kind of upgrade. And this shouldn't take very long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to the object player, and this is just going to be purely for testing purposes. We're going to make a collision event with enemy parent. We want this to happen with all enemies. We're going to make a new variable. Ooh, not a new variable. We have to declare the new variable in the create. Make a new variable of XP. We'll just call it XP. And set it to 0. And then on collision with an enemy, set XP to +1. And then we can set a kind of manual countdown timer of I don't know, XP cooldown. This is we'll set you to like 120. And then we'll go into our step phase. Add in a, well, hi, Missy. We're going to set XP cooldown to be -1 relative to itself if you're bigger than 0. There we go. And then in the draw phase, we're going to draw another thing of XP. And the value will be XP. We'll put this, I don't know, 50 pixels down from the beginning, from the coins. All right. Hold on, what's going on? XP cooldown not set before reading it. Oh, did we not? Oh, well, there's your problem. We didn't bring this into the create phase. That was our problem. There we go. So we've got coins, and now we have XP. That's interesting. Why did it only show when we clicked? I mean, that's kind of the variable. Oh, because it's in an if statement. I'm checking if it's clicked. All right. So theoretically, if I walk into this guy, I will get 1 experience, and then I will not get another. I will not get another experience for another 3 seconds, right? All right, that's not working. Oh, duh. Because we're not using it at all. So if XP cooldown is equal to 0, do this. Try this again. Click. Good. The cooldown is working. There we go. Right on. Perfect. 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 That's working perfectly. So now we need to make a new button, which is going to be using that experience currency. And let's just do something simple because we already have done the platforming, modifying the platforming stuff. I'm not really terribly concerned about that. Let's go ahead and grab a button. Just duplicate it. We're gonna rename this object button change color. We'll open this up, and all this is gonna do on press, if it's active, is we're gonna change the color of the sprite. That instance color. I'd like it to pick a random color, just because I want to try this. I think it would be neat. Option will be FF0000. $00FF00, and then $0000FF. All this is going to be is color. And we're going to set instance color equal to color. Yeah. Let's see if that works. So theoretically, this is going to choose randomly between red, green, or blue. Oh, you know what? We need to change our active statement. So we're going to check if XP is greater than 0. And then we'll set it to true, else false. Then on left pressed, we will decrement sign variable object player.xp. Set that to -1 relative. So theoretically, this is going to, oh, and we didn't put the button in it. Of course, forget it every time. Every time. Throw the button in here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to like change the number in or the wording in here, huh? Change color. Okay. Try it. See what happens. Okay. So we are apparently referencing XP somewhere, just on its own. Ah, there we go. Object player.xp. That'll fix it. Okay. Got a coin. Got an XP. This enabled. Let's grab another XP so we can test if we're getting a random color. Oh, darn it. We are getting a random color, so it's working. That's good. But we need to change it to other. Actually, no, we need not other. We need to specify the player object. All right, try that again. Ooh, 3. All right, change color. Broken. How bizarre. Okay. Player color not set before reading it. At GML object button color, change color mouse, line 31 image blend color, and $FFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFFffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffffff Why are we saying and FFFFFF? Like, there's no white in here. Why are we setting image alpha? All right, hold on. I'll be right back. We're gonna figure this out. Okay, let's do this thing. We are a bit of a problem. The color is not really working the way that I would hope it would. So let's take a look. What exactly is happening here? We've got a crash. Right. Okay, and there's like all this weird code going on in here. Like, why? Why is it doing this? Let's go to our handy dandy game maker manual. See what image blend is for. For browser. This variable controls the tinting of the instance sprite, and the default value is -1, but can also be C white. Any other value, including internal color constants like C red, C aqua, will blend the specified color with the original sprite. Please note that for changes in this variable to be visible, the instance have either no draw event, so GameMaker will default draw the sprite, be drawn using one of the extended drawing functions like draw self. Please note that you should try to limit blending on the HTML5 platform unless using each blended sprite has to be cached separately. Okay, well, the above code will set the image blend of the sprite defined for the instance random color. Set the image blend of the sprite defined instance color. Well, that's exactly what I'm hoping to do. So this is, I'm assuming, make color hue saturation value. Hue is saying be fully colored. Saturation, fully bright, or rather, I'm probably mixing these up. And then value meaning the color, like what pigment is it. So I mean, let's convert to code, and let's give this a shot. Left pressed, and yeah. Then we don't even need this. Let's try it. Swap back. Let's see what we've got. Got our XP. Aye. We're definitely doing a lot of red. I'm curious why it's... Because it looks like, if I had to make a guess, we're randomizing on saturation, not value. Wait, no. We're going on value, not on hue. Okay. This is why, did you notice when I was explaining that, everything seemed a little bit weird, and like I was going really slowly and awkwardly? That's why. Because we were randomizing on value. Value meaning luminosity. How bright is it? Try this again. This should get us fully... Whoa, the game broke. Okay, that was weird. I tried to drag the window while I was moving, so I guess we just shouldn't do that. Okay. Color. There we go. Nice. Perfect. There we go. We're getting a random color. Love it. So random is an important thing to see. This function returns a random floating point decimal between 0 and the specified upper limit. Example, random 100 will return a value from 0 to 100.0, but that value can be 22.56473. Also use real numbers and not integers in this function, like this, random 0.5. Return a value between 0 and 0.5. Okay. Right on. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. So let's go back to our whiteboard here. We have layers of currency, folks. We done did it. We just got to deal with viewports. And then our proof of concept is done. And we can start designing this sucker. Very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. Okay. So, views. This is something I don't even really know what we can do about this. Like I kind of don't even know where to begin looking here. And it looks like we have view set Y and view set X, right? That's going to set the position. View set camera will set a camera to a specific viewport. Give the viewport. Okay, hold on. Before we start getting into setting cameras, what's the difference between a camera and a viewport? In creating rooms in GameMaker, you need to set up different viewports and or cameras to control what is displayed to the player. The viewports are basically little windows into your game world that enable you to show the player part of the room, scaled or one-to-one, and as such, they are essential when your game room is larger than the display size. The cameras are what define exactly what will be shown in each viewport. GameMaker permits you 8 independent viewports and an unlimited number of cameras, of which only 8 can be active at any one time. Okay, that's good to know. So we have a technical limitation here. That's really good to know. One assigned to each of the available ports. Although normally you'll only need 1 or 2 viewports. Cameras can show different parts of the same room and can be activated and deactivated as well as assigned to viewports at any time. Meaning that you can use cameras to draw HUD elements or to have split screen effects. Or to create cutscenes, for example. Essentially, you position a camera within a room and define the view area of the room that will be visible to it. And this view is drawn to a viewport. Position a camera within a room and define the view area of the room that will be visible. And this view is drawn to a viewport. Note that the viewport can be a different size to the camera view. Such you can distort and scale the camera view if it's a size other than 1-to-1 with the viewport. So the camera is a point within the room that will be used to set how the room is displayed, typically with position, orientation, field of view, and aspect ratio. View what the camera sees based on the position, projection, and rotation of the camera eyes. So that's getting into like 3D level stuff, right? Viewport the area of the screen where the camera will be displayed. If you're adding cameras through the room editor, then you can retrieve their camera ID value using the view camera variable. You can then manipulate the value using the functions below, and you can even destroy the default cameras if required. You will need to assign a new camera to the view, otherwise you will get some very behavior. Cameras added to a viewport in the room editor are global in scope, meaning that they are created once you start the game, and then as you enter each room, they are set to the values set in the room editor. So if you destroy a default camera in any room, cease to exist for all rooms. Something to note about cameras and viewports is that the total area of the bounding box for all active viewports, the first room of the game, is what defines the background canvas size. So size for Mac OS. Any areas that are not covered by a viewport will default to drawing using window color, illustrated by the image. We have a big viewport here and 2 different cameras. Final game window / background canvas is defined by the total bounding box of all viewports in the initial. Total bounding box of all viewports. I don't think I'm quite rocking that. You should take care when using multiple cameras, as the draw event for all instances is called once for each visible view. So if you have 3 camera views active in one room, the draw event will be run 3 times every step, basically doing 3 times the work. Can be a cause slowdown if the game is large or complex. The view current variable can be used to help limit these draw calls, however, by checking which view is being drawn, and only drawing items that are specific to a given viewport. Also be careful when creating your own cameras, as if you create one in a room and don't remove it using camera destroy function, you can memory leak. Fun. You can find an overview of all the available functions from different sections below. Okay, so we've got create and destroy, camera information. Let's set view mat. Set the view matrix for a given camera. You give the unique camera ID value and a view matrix to be applied. What's a view matrix? Creates a new camera and assigns it to viewport 0. The camera then has its view and projection. So helpful. You can find out more about creating view matrices from the section matrix functions. You know, mathematically, I understand what a matrix is. Like, it's a table. This is not tremendously complex. I don't know what a matrix does in relation to cameras. Like, what is a view matrix? Is it like coordinates? No, because then I was wondering, is it like the bounding box? Like set this x and y and this x and y and this xy, this xy? This is not that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. This function builds a look at view matrix based on the specified parameters listed below. Since this function modifies the view matrix and not the projection matrix, first initialize the projection matrix, the other matrix function, matrix build projection perspective. This function to move the view camera around projection. To set the view, you first need to define the position you look from, which is indicated by the parameters. Next, you must specify the direction you look at. This is done by giving a second point to look toward. Arguments. Finally, you can still rotate the camera around the line from the viewpoint to the looking point. To specify this, we must give an up vector, the direction that is upwards in the camera. Man, yeah, I'm still not rocking that. Set view position? You can use the function to update the position of the camera view within the room. No, that's not really what we want. What we want is to shrink a view, rather not shrink the view, but where it is being rendered, we want to shrink that in. About set view target. We'll look at this one, then I gotta take another quick break, and then I'll be right back. Set view target, set the follow target of the view camera within the room. Oh, okay. I mean, that's not really... That's just saying follow this object. We don't want to change that. We just want to shrink we're displaying. All right, I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Okay. We're still trying to figure out this whole camera and viewport thing. Working with cameras, you have to assign them to a viewport, them to be active and display anything. Viewports are numbered from 0 to 7, can be changed and positioned using different variable arrays functions. I think what I would want to do is scale the viewport down. I think if I don't think the camera would really work. Um, get view size be update the size of the view camera within the room. Give the unique camera ID value the width and height. So the problem is, I think the wrong transition. I think that will just change what we're looking at. So like if I add camera in here, if I add a camera. Okay, so it's just matching things. It's like if I set this camera to be like, I don't know, 400 by 200, yeah, all of a sudden that's all we're seeing. It's not scaling the whole thing down, it's just that's what we see. Oops. Sometimes undo does not affect the things that I would expect it to. 1366 and 768. So we've got to be looking at views, right? Set camera, set visible, set export, set Y port, W port, H port. This is going to be setting the width and the height, right? But that's not going to help with anything. If I set the viewport to 200, what's going to happen? So I set the viewport to 200 by 200. Yeah. But wait, whoa. What? That changed the scale. So can I then, theoretically, in our room settings, excuse me, I want to change the size of our room. How do I change the size of our room? Room editor. Let's see. That's not going to be game option, right? Game maker, how change size of room. Room properties section. Room properties. For the room properties. Here? No. It looks like a drop down. It does not look like a header. All right. Talking about scaling the size of the HUD. No, I don't want to just set the GUI. Maybe. Display set GUI high size? Display set GUI size. I mean, will that be more than just like the UI? Will it be everything that gets displayed? Only draw affect things drawn in the draw GUI event. Yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. I don't really care about that right now. And really, we don't want to change the room. We want to change the viewport. Oh, right. So dumb. We need to resize it right now, but we need to resize the viewport of this section of the room. All I need to do is change dimensions of the room. Boy, why is this so hard? Why is this not just like a quick thing in this part of the interface? Take this as a life lesson. Sometimes what you're looking for is right in front of your face. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's set this to, I don't know, 1366, and then let's just add like a 0 onto the end. That should give us 10 wide. And then height of the same thing, right? Multiply it by 10. Now we have this massive room. I'm kind of curious. How do we want to trigger this? How do we want to trigger? Let's just go to the coin. Go to the coin object. And we will add an event on click. On left click. Okay. View. Set view variable. We're going to change the width of view to let's just divide it by 10, right? We'll do viewport height similarly divided by 10, right? And then we'll have viewport 1 at 1366x 0y. Let's try and find the cameras section here. Because what I feel like we are missing is a way to say switch views. And what happens if I just hit play here? Okay. Nothing. Nothing is happening right now. When I press space, I go to room game, which should be 1920 by 1080, but it's still the same 640 game. I've set the resolution on and views are disabled. Changing the viewport size. Go to back to our documentation here. Looking for view set W width in pixels. So I mean, this seems like it should be working just fine. Then let's just say, just to make sure that I know things are actually working, dot coins total 5 relative plus equal 5. Let's just check to see if this thing is actually working. Yes. So the problem is we have this on left down, not left pressed. I think that's what we're wanting. Okay. So, I mean, so we're definitely in here. It's definitely working, but the view variable isn't working. It's weird. So, this is interesting. We have both of these set to visible. But for some reason, it's only showing us the latter. We set this to also follow the player. Like, what would happen? We've got 2 GUIs. That's fun. Then we're following the player. Oh, that's interesting. This is being persistent. But the other one wasn't. That might be a problem. That's That's probably a problem for another day. All right. I gotta go take a quick break, check on the kiddo. I'll be right back. All right. Hey man, how are you? I'm doing well. How are you, Gobble? Good to see ya. Thanks for jumping in. How's life been treating ya? Um, I mean, we're at this point. We're just gonna go to the almighty Google. Hey, maker, how rink a level so bad. Good man, just got out of the shower. Right on. Nice. How's the code learning? I haven't worked on today. Spent the day with my kiddos. Ah, wonderful. That's great. You should spend the time with the kiddos. That's lovely. Um, okay. We're trying to figure out going to look into some free boot camps in just a bit. Oh, right on. Nice. Any thoughts on which languages you might be investigating? Talked a little bit about Python. You said you were trying to learn, and Java. Java. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Well, best of luck. I hope you find just the perfect fit for you. Python is going on the back burner. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, learning JavaScript, if you're wanting to get into web dev, JavaScript is the basis, right? If you're gonna get into like React or you know any of those packaging platforms, JavaScript is gonna be your bread and butter. Uh-oh. What's uh-oh? Oh man. This is being much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Thought picked out a word in my last statement. Oh, did it? Really? Oh, I'm not seeing anything. Also, my camera is being super choppy tonight. I'm not totally sure why that's the case, because I'm not dropping any frames. I should be sounding just fine, but the camera is being roll clunky. Assuming dummies. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see the message pop up. That's weird. Check drivers. Yeah, it could be. Could be. I am on I'm using my camera, jeez, my phone as the camera. Um, and this is the first night I'm doing simulcast streaming, also streaming to YouTube. I have an impression that might be the source of. I said I need one of them coding for dummies books. Oh, I get that. Oh, Twitch doesn't like that. So it is okay according to the terms of service, as long as you're not like combining things on stream. So as long as they don't have like Twitch stream or like a HUD element on the stream combining Twitch chat and YouTube chat and everything, then it's fine. They just their whole thing is we don't want Twitch experience to suffer. And it's like, well, I don't buy that for a heartbeat. But yeah, they did change their terms of service to allow for it as long as you're doing it. At the back end of Twitch URL. Back end of Twitch URL. I'm not sure I'm quite following. Back end of Twitch. You think that that might be causing a problem that just by virtue of multi-streaming, the camera is kind of flipping out? Sounded like something fell or moved, but I think we're all good. Man, this is a difficult problem. I'm sure Twitch has an allocation. YouTube is trying to allocate it. Well, it could be. It could be. Supposedly, Restream is supposed to do this without causing any extra problems. So I think I need to work this out in the downtime between streams here. Games with their displayed playfield changing size. With this method, you would actually set the view and port size of your room according to the monitor size. Oh, that's not really what I'm looking for. How do I create a shrinking room effect? That sounds promising. Got a turn-based battle system, shrink the room. There are tons of ways to do this as a designer. It's your job to decide what fits best for your vision. Unhelpful. You change tile maps dynamically through code so you can have them fill up or fall away or become dangerous areas that are there. Oh, this is not shrinking the view. This is saying like floor is lava and progressively more floor is lava. Yeah, that's not really helpful. Everything that I'm seeing is talking about like setting up resolution scaling or like scaling objects or sprites or something. And that's not what I'm looking for. Well, okay, let's start with how do you turn on or off a view? How turn on a view? View enabled? So can we say view enabled? Built-in variable. How to change views in code. Okay, that was just a link back to the documentation, which we've been looking at. All right, let's take a look here. This variable controls whether any viewports that are visible within the room are enabled or not. If you have viewports set to visible and then disable this option, the whole room will be drawn to the screen, scaled to the window size instead of the different cameras being drawn viewport. Code checks to see if views are enabled for the room, and if they are not, it makes sure that viewport 0 is visible and then enables the room. All right, well, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Maybe rooms are the option. Game maker, can you have multiple rooms visible at once? Okay, this is looking promising. Let's bring this in here. Is there a way to run multiple rooms? Oh, no. um, Google is really failing me here. It keeps on saying things are like 2022, and that is not true. How to simulate multiple rooms simultaneously. May want to cheat by simulating other rooms' actions from a different room. For example, if you just need to simulate enemies moving around the map in different rooms, store their positions in the global array. When you exit the room, run a simplified movement algorithm. Re-enter the room, place the enemies at those new coordinates. Not really what we're looking for. Goodness. Let's see here. Multiple rooms on the same screen. For example, your room could have multiple sections to it and use multiple views to display it. I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but how do you actually do that? Every tutorial I look at focuses on set objects in a single view, so I was starting to think you couldn't make multiple random encounters that utilize the same view. Started looking to see if you could make separate rooms, one for each type of encounter, but it seems like that's not possible either. Or there's a way to do it, but I'm just not sure how. Yeah, they're saying just build a different room, but then you can't have like the same room. Your camera show the contents of another room. That's not really what I'm looking for. I want to make multiple windows. All right, let's just go back to the documentation here. Let's look up room. Do some little research here. You must have at least one room, but you may need more. Section has all the general functions and variables related to rooms. So we can set room height and width. We can make it persistent. What's room persistent? Since a true room is considered persistent, in which case each time you leave the room and come back again, the state of the instances within that room will have been maintained. Okay. However, if it's false every time you leave and then come back, it goes back to its... Sure. Okay. I'm not really seeing any way to Oh, you can duplicate a room in code. That's interesting. Wow. Interesting. Okay. I think views are what we're needing here. We need to have these two different views. But we need them. Cool, we'll just do that. Um Drop in another enemy. Oops, no, not a sprite. The object, the enemy object. I'm Oh, darn it. Cancel. Delete. Delete instances. Here we go. Drop there. Uh how do we change? Because we want to keep viewport 1 or 0 rather. We want viewport 1 to be not a thing. We don't want viewport 1 to exist. But when viewport 0 changes in width, we want to turn on view 1. View visible. View set visible. A function can be used to set the visibility of the given viewport. This function takes the viewport index and a boolean true. Above code will check to see if the viewport is visible, and if it is not, set to visible. Okay. So theoretically, that will say no. What am I doing? Let's convert this to code. Left pressed. So view set visible 1 true. Yeah? Theoretically? So click on the coin. It kind of did something. So view set visible worked, but then setting the viewport 0 and 0 did not work. Oh man. I kind of didn't expect this to be the killer feature here that kills me. Man, what can we do here? What can we do here? You know what? This is probably a good point to pause. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I gotta go check on my kid if she's gotten down to bed yet, and I'll be right back. Okay. This seems like it has to be possible, right? This doesn't seem unreasonable. Game maker, multiple views at once. I mean, I guess a dynamic split screen is kind of what I'm looking for ish. Um, let's take a look at this here.
Greetings and welcome. My name is Aaron Craig with Let'sLearnThisTogether.com, the best place to learn game design and development with GameMaker Studio. Check out my website far and apply it to add player objects instead of two like player. The first player just is using the arrow key, WASD list
Okay.
right now.
Get to that actual reason why we're here.
With this interact and you zero, that's our camera. The viewport is actually at section. Not just the camera, because the camera moves already. You're used to moving cameras. It actually moves where is being displayed inside of the viewport. Not just the level and not just the camera. It actually moves the view around. And that's the key to having multiple cameras, is getting this part perfect. If you get this part wrong or slightly mixed up, then you're going to have very skewed characters and things are going to look really weird. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can mess it up. And the way if we run this is actually going to work just fine the way you'd expect it to. It's going to come in here, and now we have two cameras. One of them is on one player, and one of them is on the other. It is a vertical split screen right down the middle, working perfectly. Now, if we didn't have things just right, then things can get very messed up. So if we come in here and take away the export, change it from being multiplied by I, suddenly we have a completely blank screen. So what's going on? Well, we have the camera width, but the export is being too far to the left. So all of a sudden, we're actually trying to show stuff that's over here, and it just doesn't exist. So you have to make sure that here, however many players or however you're doing the split screen, you have to make sure that the export lines up correctly. So here we're doing it, dividing it by the width and the number of players that we have. The really cool thing here is that if you wanted to add in more players, you actually could. Now, we don't have a way of moving them around, but if I added in 2 more players, then you can come in here, and I could say player list 2 equals obj player, player list 3 equals obj player. Now this is going to be a little weird because I can't actually set their IDs. I'm just referencing the object. So the cameras may just pick a random one to choose to follow, but you'll be able to see that now we actually have 4 different split screens. Yeah, actually all of these move exactly the same. But I have 3 different cameras here for 4 different cameras for 4 different players, which is pretty cool. Now, I don't know which game you'd actually want to have it split 4 ways horizontally like that. That would be really difficult to play. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do a 4-player split screen in a way that 2 on top, 2 on bottom. That way, I think is much more usual and much more helpful for actually playing a game.
Okay, so let's look at camera create view then, because that's getting kind of close to what we're looking at. Camera create view. Room X, and so the X and Y position in the room, the width and height of the camera, the angle, object, X speed. Maximum horizontal speed the view can move at, maximum vertical speed the camera can move at. He's using all of these. And minimum horizontal space between the edge of the view area and the instance it is set to follow. The minimum vertical space between the edge of the view area instance it is set to follow. So like, I mean, I understand this to a certain degree. But it's like if we go here, right? We've got viewport 0, and then we would create a camera in here. Which I don't actually know how to do in the room editor. You may not be able to. So we could do creation code view. Oh, hold on. Let me transition back to GameMaker. View underscore camera. At 0 equals camera create view 0 0. So we just want it in the upper left corner. It's going to be the width of the viewport. View W port and view H port. And then what's after that? Angle 0, I guess. OBJ player to follow. And then we're gonna set the max speed to, I don't know, 50. Sure. Then the border, minimum horizontal space between the edge of the view area and the instance it is set to follow. So this is like, how quickly does the camera start to move when the player is moving, right? If it is a large thing, then the player might stay like in the center of the screen and everything behind them. A very small number, then the player will like butt up against the edge of the screen as they move. That's kind of my theory on what this is. Let's say Y border is, let's see, it's 768. So let's try and pin that right in the middle. So 350 and 68 divided by 2 is what? 34. So 384 for the Y, and for X, we'll say 0. And let's see if that does what we're thinking it's going to do. Yeah, okay. So it is moving us up and down, kind of keeping us in the center. Still have those double buttons. I have no idea why we have those double buttons. Then it shouldn't move the camera. Yeah, until we get the origin straight next to it. Okay. What's interesting is that we've extended beyond the view, which I didn't think was gonna happen. Also, boy, the coordinates for everything are really off. I thought a camera was constrained to a view. What does view camera do? So let's just like make some weird stuff happen here. Let's set our viewport to be the whole ginormo room. Then our camera. So that white line is the camera. But we're setting the camera equal to view W port and view H port. So if we're doing this correctly, type array real appears where the type real is expected. This is an array? Really? So view, so I guess we need to specify which view it is. It's not assuming any views. Okay. There we go. So we've got this massive thing. Hey, and we're getting to see the second player move around. That's cool. And also, this is exactly what I want. I want the size to be this big. So, how do we do this? Oh, now this is interesting. It's randomizing the colors for each player. That's fun. Jump off the edge. So can we set this to, I'm gonna copy all this and then set this to 1366 by 768. And then on coin press, we will set view W port 0 to the camera viewport. So how do we just update the camera views? Angle, I'm seeing target, I'm seeing view pos. You can use this function to update the position of the camera view in the room. Give the unique camera ID, but that's just like moving it up. It's not going to change how anything gets displayed. We can get view width. We can't set view width. Set view size? Okay. So theoretically, we would say camera set view size of camera ID being out here. Weird, just like hated itself. Strange. Okay, goodness. Okay. Control tab is my nemesis. I keep on thinking it's just going to go to the next tab, and it never does. I need to figure out how to actually use that. I mean, view camera 0? Can I just do that? And then width and height equal to view W port at 0 and view H port at 0. Theoretically, that will change our view. Whoa. Hey, but this is okay. This is good. Need to bump that up again. Okay. So you can see a bunch of weirdness here, but the weirdness that's good is this stuff up here. That is what we're hoping for. That's the effect that we're wanting. If we can get the level to zoom up, fly over there, that's what we're hoping to achieve. Um. Whoop, whoop. Okay. All right. So let's nuke this view set W port thing and view set visible. Let's nuke that. Let's see what happens here. Uh, why is it so zoomed in? That's very strange. Not like there's good reason that here. Oh, you know what? It's not zoomed in. We're just the camera is putting us in the middle of the screen. So man, it does feel very zoomed in. Maybe it's just because the thing is a lot bigger. So when we click the coin, theoretically it's going to set this camera's width and height equal to the width and height on the entire room. So this should get real tiny. Yes. Is there a way to like mask a camera? Because if there is, then I know how to move forward. Because I could set a mask to just this little bit here, and then this next room is camera 2. Camera 2 gets to play in the main screen. Let's try and make a second camera. View camera 1, camera create view, and we'll set this equal to 1366. So this should then make a second camera right here on clicking that coin. That's kind of what I was afraid of. Yeah. So, I mean, what happens if we do the camera destroy thing here? Let's destroy camera 0. And then see if camera 1 is actually turning on. I don't think it is. I don't think it is because it should only be 1366 and 768. So like if I comment this set view size out, yeah, not changing anything. Now, what if we didn't pass anything in for that argument? So we're not following the player. No, still nothing. In fact, it's still following the player. So this camera destroy is not doing what I would expect it to do. Where is camera destroy? Camera create view. This function will create a new camera and then set its view into the room, returning the unique ID value to identify the camera in future calls. Camera will be created using the values that you set in this function for position, size, and other details. Okay, so let's check out camera destroy. You can destroy any camera. Following the function, you supply the unique camera ID value, which you get from the camera create functions. camera array if using the room editor to set up the view. You should never destroy a camera that is currently assigned to a visible view unless you are assigning a new camera to that view. Same step. You should always destroy any cameras that you have created through code when no longer required by your game. Okay. So, how do we... I guess my question is, how are we setting this into the specific view? How are we setting this new camera we're creating into the view? Sets its view into the room. This function will create a new camera and then set its view into the room. So what is the camera create function? How is that different? This function will create an empty camera, a camera with no view or projection settings defined. If you've created the camera, you can then use different matrix functions to set the view projection matrices. Also use this function to create the camera and then use the different camera set functions to set up the view. However, note that you must provide at least a view size. Okay. So how do we assign a camera? How do we assign camera? Camera set default? Okay, so what if we do that then? What if we camera set default view camera 1? Oh, and is that our problem? Camera destroy view camera 0? Ah, wait. This isn't what we're wanting. I mean, it's good that like it's changed. I wish. Oh, we're missing a semicolon. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, so it's flinging us up into the corner here, but we don't want that. We want it to like skip forward to this next space. Theoretically, what this should be doing is when you click the coin, delete this camera and set up a new camera right here. That's what we should be viewing. So it's weird that it's like setting that camera to be like the size of the room. Doesn't seem like it should be doing that. This is the X position. Room X, room Y, width, height, angle, object to follow, maximum speeds up and down, left and right, and then how far it pushes the camera out, or when it starts scrolling on the X and the Y. So this seems like it works just fine. So why is it getting so bizarrely large? Let's do show debug message. Can we like get the default camera? Camera gets default. Yes. Good. Let's see what's happening here. Click. Default camera is 17. Okay. It's being an ID. So passing in view camera 0 is right. That's something that we should be doing. Go team. So we still need to do show debug message camera 0 is view camera at 0. And then we're going to paste this, change it to view camera 1. Play. Ah. Okay. It's not wanting to append this for whatever reason. Why? Yeah, this should work just fine. We need to do string? We need to stringify it? Test that out. Yeah, okay. So we're getting camera 0 is 17. Camera 1 is 17. And then the default camera is 17. Why? Yeah. What would that be? How would that be? Hmm. Why are they getting the same ID? Is it because we are destroying the camera? So camera 0 still at 17. Destroy the camera. So let's do show debug message camera 0 destroyed. And then let's just set this all to 0. Oh, whoops, 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 whoops. Hold on. There we go. Missing that end quote. Man, I'm stuck on a question in this code and no idea what I'm doing wrong. Oh man, join the club, brother. Yeah, jeez. What's your struggle? Link's href value should be freecatphotoapp.com. You've either omitted the href value or have a typo. Laid out in the code as is. So it's in like a link text. So something like that. Cameras, man. Scene maker cameras at once. Let's check out this dynamic split screen. Hard to describe via text. No worries. I get it. I get it. Debugging code can be hard.
I'm going to be
Transition here. The hardest thing about coding is debugging. You know, it's getting things to work when they're not. If it were just writing the stuff to be easy, be really, really quick. All right.
talking about how to make dynamic split screen in Game Maker Studio 2, like this. To use the full width. And then the height, I'm going to do them stacked top to bottom. So we use the...
Oh, you joined the Discord. Right on.
full
Welcome on in.
height minus the border size.
I admit, it's something that I have kind of neglected for a while.
And then we repeat that.
I need to kind of revitalize that. But yeah, welcome on in.
For view 2.
Thanks for joining.
And then the difference is we want that height.
I do have plans on making that a more jumping place. We're still very early on in the streaming section. You all right to post a snip of what I'm doing in the off-topic section? Yeah, of course. It's fine.
The Y position of this second view to be lowered.
Take a look here. Turn any text into a link, such as the text inside of a P element. So are lines 7 and 8 your code? Because if that's your code, then 7 is the line that I edited. So you have only made changes to line 7. Yeah? Okay. And what was your change that you made? Element. Words cat photos. Ink. adding opening closing anchor tag. With the href attribute. Turned cat photos into. I mean, I guess I'm missing some details on like what your code environment is here. When I look at this, I'm seeing paragraph tag see more anchor, and then the href being where does this anchor go to equals cat underscore photos. In our gallery, close p tag, no closing anchor tag. So now everything forever is now an anchor, and cat photos will be the URL that the rest of the page becomes. So that href is what gets put into your browser URL. If I'm understanding this correctly, that's how HTML works. Java may have some other trickery snoodly do. So yeah, that href is just going to put cat photos up in the URL, and then there's no closing anchor tag on it either. I don't know what line 8 is supposed to be. That is an appropriately set up anchor tag. So I'm not totally sure how 7 and 8 relate to each other. I don't know. Is that making any sort of sense? Or
Down, which is
or is that totally off? Let's see. Oh yeah. That's the original. Okay. Okay. Got it. That's what you started with. Okay, perfect. That clarifies things a lot for me. Thank you for putting that there. So yeah, I mean that should just really you should just look at line 8. Line 8 has a correctly set up href with the correct URL. So all you need to do is set up that anchor tag structure with the opening tag and the closing tag and wrap it around whatever you want to be a link. So if you're wanting cat photo to be the link, then copy in that same structure, right? So instead of saying a href equals cat photos, oh, I get what's happening here. Got it. Okay. Okay. I see the misunderstanding. We can do this. Hold on. It's whiteboard time. Everyone's favorite time. It's whiteboard time. This makes perfect sense. How your mental model is here. So let me see if I'm understanding this right. We have text. Zoom in a whole lot more. We have text. And then the phrase cat photos. And then some more text. And then period. And this is all in a p tag saying this is paragraph text. /p. Treat this like paragraph text. Give it all the formatting and behavior you'd expect of paragraph text. And what you are wanting to do is turn cat photos into a link. So what you've done, I believe, correct me if I go wrong here, is you've done text anchor, meaning like link, href, there it is. Href equals cat photos. And I believe what the thought process there is you are trying to say turn cat photos into a link, right? Turn cat photos into a link. So if you look at this, then like what I might think if I were learning is where do I set the link? Right? Because I've said like I want this text to be a link, but I don't know where I'm telling it where to go to. And that's where if we look at line 8, we can see how this tag is supposed to be set up. So we've got our P, well, you know, before I jump into that, the way anchor text works is href equals and then a URL. And that encloses text. So in HTML, all of this stuff in brackets, all of that stuff and all of that stuff wraps around this stuff, this just random stuff you're typing. And it's these bracket elements that tell the browser what the heck is this thing, right? And so these are just attributes, they're adjectives, they're describer words that help the computer understand what on earth it's trying to read. So that's why, like, if we go look up above, we have P, right? Open tag, closing tag. And if we were trying to do it in this same mental model that you had up here, we'd write P and then like some text, right? And we'd write out our sentence. And that would be the way that that would function. So, since we need this, oh dear, I've got P over here when it should be A. What am I saying? Since we're trying to set a URL to text, this is what we need to do. We keep this color coding, I guess. We'll say paragraph text, and then I'm going to use blue for the anchor tag. Anchor text meaning a link, and the href meaning the URL. This is me saying, where do I send this link to, right? Href equals, and then it's the cat photo app.com. And then close that tag. And now we're telling the browser the text that comes after this is going to be that. So now we'd say cat photos. And then that's the totality of the link text that we want. We don't want this going anywhere else. So now we're going to close our anchor tag, telling the browser we're done. Nothing else is a link. Then we have our other text. And we close our tag. Right? So that's the basic structure. That's how you build a link. The link is just this describer bracket thing, just like p tags, just like divs, just like body. All of these things have an open and a close. And without that close, the computer doesn't understand what on earth to do. So we need the open, we need the close, and then each of these is going to have a different type of behavioral set. For anchor tags, href is the URL, and you just type in the URL. Is that making any sort of sense? Or is that as clear as mud? Still doing something wrong? href equals link cafe. Yeah, Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir in Discord has got your back. What a guy. That's me to set the href attribute to the link. Right. So the href should be https://freephotoapp.com. Right. So if you can try to describe to me why that's being problematic. Why is that breaking in your brain? What are you expecting it to be that it's not? And meanwhile, I'll try to go back to figuring out my coding problem. So I'm kind of curious what will happen if I comment all this out. Comment selection. And then we hit play. So there's not going to be any new view, any new camera made. Play. Okay, it's doing the same thing. So I don't think this is making a lick of difference. So why not? We're deleting the camera. I mean, what happens if I just don't delete the camera? So I believe I'm inputting the correct way to add cat photos as a link. After that, I'm unsure of what to do and is asking me to then set the href attribute to the link. Unsure what to do and is asking me to then set the href attribute. Correct way to add cat photos. Do you want to put in an up-to-date screenshot in the Discord? Unless the one you've already put in is up to date, in which case, very first screenshot is where I am. Okay, let's go back to here, and this is what you have, right? Text. You have these p tags. You have anchor href equals cat photos, right? I think what may be happening here is like the mental model you're having is I need to assign this as a link. So it's almost like you're like declaring a variable, it seems like, in your mind, right? Like you're doing what we've done in Game Maker a bunch, where we do like var cat photos equals, some link or something, right? In the text of your P element, turn the words cat photos into a link by adding opening and closing anchor A tags around there. That is what it's asking me to. Right. So, right, just like it says in that description, by adding opening and closing anchor tags. So, what is happening here is you only have the opening tag. You're missing closing tag, right? That's got to go somewhere. Then that closing tag is going to say all this space in between these is what is going to turn into the link, right? So that's our first problem. So it's just like this key tag, right? We have the opening, the closing. It's very rare to have a tag in HTML that doesn't have an opening and a closing pair. I think there may be some that are like self-closing, but they're not coming to mind. Image is a self-closing tag. Okay. Yeah. You're dead right. Anchor is not one of those. So like if we go to like W3 schools, which may be where you're at, if you're not in W3 schools, it would be a really good supplement for you. So if we just go to HTML, we do elements. You're not, but you'll bookmark it. W3 schools is the standard. It is the standard. Hey, Mr. Sir, how's it going? Good to see ya. Thanks for joining in from the Discord. My goodness, it's been a minute. How are you? Yeah, W3 schools is the standard of how HTML is written. It's, or rather, not W3 schools, but the W3 organization is. And they have this website, W3 Schools, to teach that standard. So you can see here, like, never skip the end tag, right? Also learning code, so I was interested in seeing what was happening here. Right on! Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so we are troubleshooting Gobble Your Goozle's HTML homework. He's trying to learn Java. A big part of that is learning HTML and CSS. And so he's got this problem that you saw in Discord of this anchor tag not really lining up the way that you hope it to be. Mr. Sir, I can join the general chat and stream what I am doing. Yeah, for sure. And then let's see, I'm trying to find the anchor element. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the example, right? Where you have your text, which will be displayed to the user. And then you say, this text is a link with an opening and a closing tag. And then what link is it? It's the href. So W3 Schools will be a great place to kind of iron this out. Happy to keep on supporting. I'm sure Mr. Sir is going to be a valuable source for you as well. Mr. Sir, what code are you learning, if I may ask? We are working in Game Maker, trying to build an incremental platformer, kind of a combination of Thomas Was Alone with Cookie Clicker, kind of the inspiration. And you can see it's a big mess right now. This is our proof of concept to see, can we actually build the things that I want to be building? Right now we're trying to push the view all the way up into this little corner here. So we have a little version of our level and then a new level up here. I want many levels up on the screen at once, eventually. And that is not happening right now. I'm trying to figure that out. Learning a bit of Java, HTML, and CSS right now. I'm also learning a bit of C++. Hey, right on. That's a great place to be starting off. That's exactly where Gobble Your Goozle is at. You may just be like a couple steps ahead of Gobble. That's exactly where they're at, learning Java, HTML, and CSS. Right on. Oh, and you guys are in voice. You guys got it. If you're still running into issues, feel free to come back and maybe I'll stop the stream and because I need to be jumping off anyways. And I can jump onto the Discord and see what I can do to work in a more live, synchronous way. Okay.
Is basically this, but instead of removing the border size, we add it, and that puts it on the bottom half of the screen. And then to test this, we can just, it will use the combined view, which ain't great, but you know, it's a start. Okay, there you go. It looks very big right now because I've not actually set up the cameras. So now we want to set up the cameras. So I'm going to create the first camera. That will be camera combined. And we will use camera create view because it's easier. And we'll just put in 0, 0, use the full width and the full height. We will then assign that camera to view 0. And that will fix the size. There you go. Currently it doesn't follow anyone, but we'll sort that out later. And then we want to set up the split views, the individual views. So that's basically, we can take this again.
What is view set camera? What? View set camera? What's this? That's not in here. That's not in the documentation. We'll set a camera to a specific viewport. Okay. So please stop selecting. Oh, goodness. Oh my goodness. Game Maker. So let's kill all that. And then is the problem that camera set default? Not what we're wanting. We're wanting view set camera of viewport 0 and view camera at 0. Not gonna work. Work. Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. That's thrilling news. Well, we did not get as far as I was hoping to tonight, but we got pretty far. We got let's go to our mechanics list. We got the layers of currency built out very quickly, which is wonderful. That means I'm really getting confident in all of the code necessary to do that sort of stuff. That's great. Viewports, totally new space, needing to learn a whole lot, but we just took a big step forward in being able to set the camera to something else. So we're doing good, making progress, we're making games. With that, I'm gonna have to jump off tonight. It is already way later than I was planning on being up, but it was wonderful chatting with everyone. Gobbled your goozle, thanks for jumping in again, Mr. Sir. Wonderful to have you on the stream and jumping over from the old board game community. Super excited to hear about both of you learning how to code. Obviously, I'm very much on that journey, and I hope that Gobbled, your code gets worked out. And thanks for coming in and being a support to the community, Mr. Sir. That's awesome. Love it. I'm seeing even Bugendorf is jumping in. My goodness. So right on. Hey, wish you all the best. You're great. We'll see you next time.